Hello everyone and welcome back to Quantum Football. Today I'm going to be doing a mock draft without, Sam Darnold and the Jets anymore. Now I'm the Panthers, but before that happens I have to address something real quick. There's this I caught wind of news yesterday that Stephen A. Smith actually thinks that the Darnold trade was good. So,
and the Carolina Panthers organization is just a better organization than the New York Jets. I think they win in this.
yeah, I guess I have to retract that take, and I guess I have to say that Darnold will not have a good career in Carolina. I'm sorry to say. It's just not going to happen. Stephen A. Smith said it was so it ain't so. Yeah. It's unfortunate it did go down like this, Darnold. I really do apologize. But, yeah, anyways, I know we had to get that very sad thing out of the way. But, yeah, let's get started with this. So, let's get through these three picks real quick, because it's going to be Trevor Lawrence, and it's going to be Zach Wilson, and it's going to be Justin Fields. These are the top three prospects, in my opinion. And they're going in the top three. I don't care what anyone else says. These guys are going top three, no matter what. By positional value, they're the three best fit players on the board. It could switch up a bit. I don't see Justin Fields going first, but I can see Zach Wilson going first. Trevor Lawrence could go second. Zach Wilson could go third. Justin Fields could go second. You could mix them up, but not by much. One spot each. And, anyone who tells you that Trey Lance or Mac Jones is at this spot at number 3 is just lying to you. And the reason why is because you don't trade up here to number 3 if you are not confident. You do not trade up to number 3 if you are not confident that you're getting one of the top 3 quarterbacks that you like, right? Top 3 quarterbacks are these 3. You're not trading up for a guy like Trey Lance. Consensus doesn't say that these guys, that Trey Lance is in the top 3. Consensus doesn't say that Mac Jones is in the top 3. You don't trade up for Mac Jones. If you're the 49ers and you catch wind of, perhaps a trade, to maybe number 7 or something for Mac Jones, that's where you trade up for Mac Jones, right? You trade it from 12 to 7, you give a whole lot less. You don't trade up to 3 when we're even super duper early in the draft process still. You don't do this without being super confident in your third quarterback in your rankings. And that's going to be Justin Fields. I have no doubt about it. People say that Mac Jones and Trey Lance are better scheme fits. They're just wrong. They're just flat out wrong. I don't know what to tell you. They're just wrong. Justin Fields would fit great in a Shanahan offense. I mean, he's just the better prospect. And he fits better. I don't understand what's going on here. Why do people think that you have to draft Mac Jones in the spot? It just doesn't make any sense. Why do people think that? Whatever. Anyways, enough of my rambling. Number 4, the Falcons are actually shopping their number 4 pick. I know, it's crazy. What are the Falcons doing? They should be drafting a quarterback. They're never going to be here again. You know what, guys? There's this thing called franchise quarterbacks. And when there's a franchise quarterback on your team, you want to keep him happy as much as possible. And guess what? The Falcons have a freaking franchise quarterback, okay? His name is Matt Ryan. I know he's old, okay? I get it. Guess who else is old? Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Guess what? They're not stopping anytime soon. Am I going to say that Matt Ryan's not going to stop anytime soon? I don't know. But he doesn't seem like he's stopping. So I don't blame the Falcons for wanting to shop this pick. I do not blame it at all. So, I am going to have them trade down. I'm going to have them trade down, not to the Broncos, because I have a take on them later. I'm not going to trade them down to the Patriots because, that Super Bowl win. They're still having bad feelings about that. They still hold a grudge. They're not going to give it up to the Patriots. No, they can't do business with the Patriots. They're going to go all the way to 19. The Washington football team are trading up big time. No big holes on their roster. They're going to go all in. All in. I'm just making this trade work. I don't know how this trade would actually work in real life. Yeah, I would assume you'd have to give up similar things to what the 49ers did. But yeah, Trey Lance at number 4, going to the Washington football team. You're giving up probably a similar price, like I said, and you're going to get a QB who's going to sit behind, Ryan Fitzpatrick, just like Tua did, but hopefully he works out better than Tua does. I think he's probably a better prospect than Tua. It's pretty hard to say. I know hindsight 2020 is pretty strong here. Maybe I'm just wrong and I wouldn't have ever said that sort of thing. But I feel like this quarterback class is pretty damn stacked, so maybe I would. I don't know. Sorry, I just smacked the mic. Anyways, yeah, they get their future franchise guy, grab him, and now you get to sit behind Fitzpatrick for a year, see how it goes, see how the Magic Man works his magic, and then you turn into the Magic Man. And trying to think of a Lance. Lance sounds like Irish, and no, it's not working. Whatever. Anyways, the Bengals at 5. Joe Burrow wants Jamar Chase, but the Bengals probably think, we probably need Sewell, right? Do we really need Jamar Chase? We already got T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Do we really need another receiver? I don't know. I think it's going to be a huge 50-50 between these two. And if one is taken before then yeah, just take the other one. I mean, Bengals are in a dream spot after. In fact, they're probably one of the biggest winners after this because, the Dolphins probably would have taken Sewell or Chase. And, the Falcons, they could have taken the other one. So, yeah. Although, since they're saying they're shopping off the pick, I wouldn't be surprised if they had said the same thing even if this trade didn't go down. So, who do I have the Bengals taking? Yeah, I know it's a 50-50, but I think the tiebreaker is going to be marketing, branding, and Joe Burrow. All those things are leaning towards Chase. You don't want to make the boring pick here if you're the Bengals. You don't want to take Penei Sewell. Nobody's going to know his name in 10 years. But Jamar Chase, he could be a legend forever. So, it's a 50-50. Why not take the better, looking player, if you know what I mean. At number 6, the Dolphins are in a weird spot. So they traded back, kind of, and they're at 6 now. I think here their whole point was, okay, we're going to grab Devontae Smith. And I don't see them changing that, right? Why would they go? Would they go maybe Penei Sewell if he falls here? Would they go maybe Kyle Pitts because he falls this far? Question mark? I don't know. It's a pretty tough decision, I do say. I don't know what they want here. I would assume the whole point of this trade was so they could be flexible and take whoever they like here. I'm going to say that's Devontae Smith. It makes the most sense to me. Reunites with Tua Tagovailoa, and he was a Heisman winner, so why the heck not? At number 7, the Lions are in an interesting spot. They're probably one of the biggest candidates to trade down, meaning that Mac Jones probably goes at 7. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, by the way, don't do illegal gambling, guys. That's not good for your health or your, law-abiding soul. Anyways, the Lions, do they trade down here? Is there anyone who wants Mac Jones at 7? I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe someone like the Patriots wants him. They wanted Justin Fields. He goes at 3. Maybe they don't want to trade up for a quarterback anymore. The Bears, they're looking kind of desperate. Maybe they want to trade up. But maybe they could wait and see. Because, maybe the Patriots, maybe he falls to 20. You never know. I mean, who's taking a quarterback before them? The Patriots, potentially. The Lions. The Panthers aren't right now. Maybe the Denver Broncos. But Maybe they don't. Maybe they stick with True Lock. I don't know. So I'm going to have the Bears not trading up here. I'm going to have the Lions sticking at 7. And who do they take here? I think your two main options here. Well, I think you could have 3 too. I think you could take Penei Sewell, Kyle Pitts, Jalen Waddle. Top 3 guys on your board. Or you could take Rashawn Slater. No, you're not taking Rashawn Slater. Maybe you take like a Kwity Paye. Maybe you take like a, Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is still available. It'd be a good Lions pick. The reason why I chuckle at that because is Micah Parsons gonna go in the top 10? I don't know. It's just he's like kind of that weird middle ground. He's should be in like this range, this 9 to 13 range, in my opinion. And his like character concerns, which you shouldn't worry about those, should, you know, in the NFL spotlight, put him like way down here. So like maybe they get him at 20 for some reason. So I think those are their 4 main options: Penei Sewell, Kyle Pitts, Jalen Waddle, and Micah Parsons. So the most Lions pick is probably Micah Parsons, and then Penei Sewell, and then Kyle Pitts, and then Jalen Waddle. But what's actually best for the team? I would think it's probably Jalen Waddle. I would assume it's Jalen Waddle. You need a better wide receiver than Tyrell Williams and Rashad Perriman. Like, that's not good. So I don't know what they want to do here. I would think they would trade down and grab like a good trenches guy later. That's what I would think they would do in an actual draft. But like, if you have no suitors for the 7 pick, I don't know if this happens. So I'm going to have the Lions take Jalen Waddle and all 3 wide receivers go in the top 7. Quarterbacks, wide receivers. Pretty crazy. It just worked out that way, to be honest. I could see Penei Sewell going in this range. I could see Kyle Pitts going in this range. I could see a random defensive guy going here. It just happened to work out like this. And the Panthers at 8, no longer in the quarterback market, are not going to take Darnold, Mac Jones. They're going to take someone else. Who are they taking? They're going to take probably their best position. No, their best available. That's who they're taking. So, who do you take here if you are the Panthers? I would think Penei Sewell is a good idea. Because I think they're solved at right tackle, not at left tackle, if I'm not mistaken. So Penei Sewell would be a great addition. Even if they like have it solved, like Penei Sewell is still going to help you out a ton. Kyle Pitts, an absolute stud playmaker. They need a tight end. They could easily go that. For me, if it ends up like this, I think this is another 50-50, right? So I could say Ty goes to marketing again. That's like, I don't know if the Panthers need another playmaker is the thing. Like they've got Robbie Anderson, they've got DJ Moore, and they've got David Moore. Or is it David Moore? I think it's David Moore. He's their wide receiver 3. They traded away Curtis Samuel. He's like under the radar, really good in my opinion. So yeah, I don't think they need another one. They just signed Dan Arnold, from the Cardinals, which is interesting. He's like kind of a receiving tight end. Could be pretty decent. I think they're going to end up going for pure value and take Penei Sewell. They probably wouldn't expect him to fall this far, but now that the trades have lined up like this is just how it went, and they pick up Penei Sewell. And yeah, I guess Kyle Pitts is not necessarily a sure thing, and I think Penei Sewell is more of a sure thing. So that's my rationale behind this, at least. And the Broncos at 9. So I said I got a take here for the Broncos. I think the Broncos don't actually end up getting a quarterback. Oh, I just realized my face is in the draft board. Damn. You know what? This is fine. nothing really important happened yet, I don't think, right? Hopefully not. Anyways, let's put my face here. That looks... There we go. So, the Broncos at 9, I think, will go one of two ways. They'll either take Mac Jones, if he's still available, at 9, or they'll stick with Drew Lock and take a defensive player, because they're pretty set at offense. Maybe they go offensive line and Rashawn Slater, potentially. I don't think they need offensive line. So, where do they go? I think the Denver Broncos line is not great. I'd have to double check on that. But I think here, you need to go defense if you're the Broncos. And the reason why is because Drew Lock still has potential. And I think they're going to think that. Now, is it any, anything to bank on? No. If I were the Broncos, I would heavily consider taking Mac Jones here. I wouldn't trade up and spend extra draft capital on a quarterback, especially if it was for Mac Jones. But even for Trey Lance, I don't think I'd go for it. If Justin Fields is still on the board, I'd consider it. But I don't think they want to go for the bottom half of the quarterbacks this draft class. I think they'd rather either tank for next year for someone like Sam Howell, or see how Mr. Lock turns out. So, I'm going to have them take their best defensive player on the board, and that is going to be Micah Parsons. I think he's going to sneak into the top 10 somehow, whether it be through the Lions, the Panthers could do it, maybe, and the Broncos. Maybe even the Cowboys. I think it'd go with all 4 of these teams. And maybe, I don't think the Dolphins. I think they're taking Devontae Smith. But yeah, those 4 teams are very likely to take Parsons. I think it was to one of them. At number 10, the Cowboys. I think Cowboys, if someone like Mac Jones is available, they're a pretty sneaky team to trade down. Now, at the same time, if you have someone like Rashawn Slater available, I think you're going to take him. But if you can trade down and still get like a top 3 corner, I think they're going to want to do that. So, like, if the Patriots were offering, I think they would take it. But at the same time, you might still want Rashawn Slater here. And, plug and play him at guard. Because I think he's going to be a guard since he doesn't have the arm length. He only has 33-inch arms. So I don't think he can quite do it as a tackle. But maybe he could. Who knows? But yeah, Rashawn Slater or the top corner on the board is basically what the Dallas Cowboys are going to do. So what do you have them doing here exactly, you might ask? I'm going to have them take Rashawn Slater. So Rashawn Slater, I think, is sneakily up there with Penei Sewell. I don't think he's quite there. I think Penei Sewell has the insanely high ceiling that Slater does not have. But right now, I think Slater's a little bit better than Penei Sewell. Not by much, but I think the fact that you can just plug him, play him, and he will do just fine for you. He will be an above-average guard at least. That's his floor. I think you're going to want to spend high draft capital on that. And, that offense for the Cowboys is going to be scary. They're going to spend the rest of the picks on defense. Hopefully, a couple of them hit, and they improve there. At number 11, the New York Giants are going to take a playmaker. A playmaker by the man of Kyle Pitts. He ends up falling to the Giants here in this. And I think this is probably the furthest he goes. And you might be saying to yourself, oh, they already have Evan Ingram at tight end. You think Evan Ingram is going to stop them from taking Kyle Pitts? What are you talking about? Why would anyone pass on Kyle Pitts if they have... I know, I guess he's a Pro Bowler, but he's Evan Ingram for crying out loud. Why would you Why would you let that stop you from taking a guy who's not even going to probably project as a tight end in the NFL? Why would you let that happen to you? Like, why? I know you have Kenny Golladay too. Oh, you have a wide receiver and a tight end. Why would you take Kyle Pitts? What else is there besides Kenny Golladay? And no, I'm not counting Evan Ingram, by the way. Yeah, that's right. Literally no one. So, you give an extra weapon to Daniel Jones, he's going to be happy. And I think that O-line improves with time. So you don't really have to go O-line here. I think, you can grab an edge. You can grab some defensive linemen in the later rounds. You're not going to find a Kyle Pitts ever again in this draft. You're not going to find him ever again in like 5 years. So taking Kyle Pitts at 11, in my opinion, is just an absolute steal for the Giants. At number 12, the Eagles just got sniped. It's plain and simple as that. But I think the whole point why they traded down to this spot, get more draft capital, and they wanted to let their receivers develop, meaning that they're going to take defense here. And I think they could go corner or linebacker. They have a bigger need at linebacker, but the value really isn't there for them. So I'm going to have them take Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. He's not my corner one, but I've accepted at this point that everyone's going to think he's cornerback one. And yeah, I mean, he showed that he had the speed with 4.41, 40-yard dash. I feel really bad for this pick, but at the same time, I know this is what everyone's going to feel. And I don't think it's a bad pick. I just think he doesn't show up on tape as a very fast guy. I just don't think he's just overrated in my opinion for a bunch of reasons. It's not a diss on Patrick Surtain. I just don't know if he translates to the next level because he plays really well against mid to low level wide receivers and tight ends, but against a Kyle Pitts and a lot of good wide receivers, he really looked uncomfortable. So I know that sounds really nitpicky, but it shows up on tape to me at least. So yeah, here he goes at 12 here for the Eagles, and I think this is going to be considered a pretty big value here probably for the Eagles. At number 13, the Chargers are probably going to take a tackle. I know this is the absolute most boring pick of all time. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to be boring here. I'm trading down to the Bears. Let's give it up for the Bears. They're actually going to solve their QB problems. They're going to trade up to the Chargers. In real life, they probably give up a second next year. Maybe another whatever. This is probably the sort of trade that would actually happen. Something like this. Actually, no. Probably something like this would happen in real life. I don't know if this gets accepted though. Yep. And yeah, but the Bears trade up to the Chargers. I'm just gonna make this go through. And they end up taking Mac Jones. I know the Bears fans out there are extremely mad right now. They're actually just they're gonna pull out their brain from their skulls. They're actually just that mad at that. They go from one mediocre quarterback to another in Mac Jones. I don't think he's going to be mediocre. I think he's heavily underrated right now, but I think consensus is going to have him way lower than everyone else. I know, as this offseason went on, people were saying, oh my god, people are sleeping on Mac Jones, whoop-de-doop-de-doo. But I just don't think that teams are going to see this that way. I think he either goes top 5 or he goes outside the top 10. I don't think he goes in between. So, yeah. I'm having him go 13 here. I'm still torn as to whether or not he goes top 5 or outside the top 10. I have no idea. If I had to guess, that's for another video. Stay tuned. Anyways, yeah. The Vikings at 14. So, I think Jeff Gladney, if I'm not mistaken, it was one of the Vikings corners. They got in trouble for some stuff off the field. He ended up turning himself in for third-degree assault, I believe. So, corner is a pretty big need since, yeah, that happened. So, J.C. Horn's on the board. I'm going to have the Vikings take J.C. Horn here. It's a little bit too late in free agency to grab one, so they end up addressing it in the draft. I think they're going to be pretty happy if they pick up J.C. Horn here. At number 15, the New England Patriots are going to take someone that is kind of a bit of a weird pick. I don't know if people are going to like this pick, but in my opinion, this is about the range where Christian Barmore should go. I don't know if he goes in this range, but Christian Barmore is by far my favorite prospect in this draft in terms of, like, I think he's being, I don't know why, but he's just not being considered nearly as high as he should be. He just looks like an NFL, like, beast. I don't know what else to say. Like, he just pops off, like, on the tape. He popped off for Alabama, so he should be going in this range. I don't know why people have him going outside the first round or, like, you know, like late first round, like in these sort of range of picks. He should be going in these sort of range of picks, but, you know, it's just a bit weird to me. I don't know. The Cardinals at 16 is a bit of a weird mock. I haven't really thought about what the Cardinals want. Now, both the top two corners are gone, and now that Caleb Farley has a huge injury, I don't know if he actually falls in the draft, by the way. There might be some cause for concern here. Where did the Cardinals go? I have no idea. I think they could take, potentially, Rashad Bateman here. I think that would be an interesting choice. For me, he's the number 4 wide receiver. People are saying that Kadarius Toney should be the consensus wide receiver 4. I think I'm still going to stay with Bateman for now. I just think he's like a great all-around wide receiver. Where do you go, though? I think if Christian Barmore was on the board, I would be really happy if the Cardinals took him. But I just don't think that happens. Maybe, actually, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do another trade. So you know how I always have the Colts, you know, trading down in mocks? Well, this time, they're gonna spice things up a little bit. They're trading up. They're going to trade up with the Cardinals. They don't have anything. Wow. Where did the draft capital go? It's all gone with the Wentz trade. Oh, this is the conditional pick, so probably can't do that pick. Maybe this? Does this work? No. I think that would probably be close to what would happen in real life. Maybe you get a little bit more if you're the Cardinals. Probably a third in this, and then this in real life. But I'm just gonna. Oh, well, the system hates me. Yeah, screw it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Just get it over with. End my suffering. Just go. There you go. The Colts end up taking Christian Darrisaw. A lot of people are probably going to have him as the tackle 2 ahead of Rashawn Slater. I think that's abysmal, but I think at least he is in that top 3, like, and way ahead of the other guys, meaning that it would be worth it to trade up for a guy like Christian Darrisaw. Not giving up too much, but I think he's worth the haul. And that offensive line looks fantastic. The Colts look like Super Bowl contenders. I think this pick makes a big difference for them, actually. So, yeah. The Raiders at 17. I think they're not going to care about Caleb Farley's injury. It's just, why is he here at 31? Okay. Well, I think the Raiders are... I think Caleb Farley is their type of player. He's just, like, uber fast. Like, really, really, like, way too fast for his own good. He has closing speed like no other. He's gonna be that guy that makes no sense as to, like, the types of plays he makes, but they're gonna look sick. It's just, that's the type of player I see. You know what I'm talking about, right? He's just that type of player. But yeah, the Raiders end up going for it, and I don't blame them. He probably would be top 10 had he not got the injury. So they take a chance on him. At number 18, the Dolphins are in a bit of a weird spot. I think if they draft purely based on need, they'd go linebacker here. Kyle Van Noy was just released, and they would take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. At the same time, I think you could go running back. I know that's crazy to think that you can take up running back in the first round. I know that's crazy. Why would you ever do that? You could also probably... They're a sneaky team to go edge here, especially if there's no edges taken off the board yet. I think they're a sneaky team to take edge. Just looking to make sure I'm not missing anything. They did get sniped with the Christian Darrisaw pick. I think they would take him. Maybe they wouldn't still. Perhaps take him at 18. But yeah, where do you go if you are the Dolphins? I think if Caleb Farley is available, you probably take him because of the troubles you're having with Xavier Howard. I think he wants out of Miami for whatever reason. So they would probably have to solve that problem through the draft. But I don't think you want to take Greg Newsome here at 18. So I'm going to have them end up taking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I know this happens at, like, literally every single one of my mocks, but it ends up happening here too, just because it makes way too much sense. And, oh my gosh, 3 traded picks in a row. I did not actually think this was happening. But, yeah. The Falcons here, they take their edge 1. I don't think this is a question. If they're trading down this far, they're going to take a prime defensive player here. And I think Kwity Paye is a huge fall. He should be going probably top 15, top 12 even. So the fact that he falls to the Falcons at 19 is great for them. It Chargers at 20. I think they were probably hoping for Christian Darrisaw, but they end up trading down because you get enough from the Bears. Here, I think they're going to think that they could take a tackle either later on, or they can solve that, through free agency like they have so far. I think they ended up taking one in the second round. Maybe someone like Walker Little, perhaps maybe Jalen Mayfield if he's still available. Not many offensive linemen have been taken at this point. So I think they stand to believe that they can get a value for one at the second round. So I think here the Chargers are going to go Rashad Bateman if he's available. Now, I know this is a bit of a weird pick for them, but all they really have at wide receiver is Keenan Allen. And he's getting a bit older. I think he's like 28 at this point. And the rest of their wide receivers are not the best. I know they have some decent guys. Jalen Guyton, I think is his name. He's okay, but other than that, they're pretty strapped at the position. And I think giving Justin Herbert another playmaker does make a lot of sense. And the Cardinals at 21. I think if you're going to trade down in these scenarios, I think you're justified in taking scheme fits that are a bit of reaches, right? And, a lot of the times teams just take scheme fits and they just don't care whether or not it's value or not. But I think value is very important. But if you are trading down and getting value for your actual pick in the draft, I think you're justified in taking a bit of a reach. And in my opinion, I don't even think this is a reach. Elijah Moore at 21 for the Cardinals just makes a lot of sense to me. He's the slot guy that, can stretch the field. He can get you some yak. He can get you some yards after the catch. He can do it all, basically. He's a great guy to complement someone like DeAndre Hopkins, and I think this would be a great fit for the team at 21. Now, the Titans at 22, they kind of got sniped. They probably would have hoped for a good wide receiver here at 22, and now all you have left is Kadarius Toney. Now, he is the consensus wide receiver 4 right now, or, he goes in that range for a lot of people. I don't personally like him, but I can see why teams do. I feel like this is another trade down spot, but at the same time, there's not enough value here for anyone, in my opinion. So, I think you have to go something here. You could take edge rusher even with Bud Dupree. Taking someone to complement opposite of him makes a lot of sense to me. So I think Jalen Phillips, being the edge 1 in the class without the injuries, is a good idea for the Titans to take here at 22. And the Jets at 23. This is a bit of a weird thing for the Jets, because I think they need to go offensive line here. I think the best available is Elijah Vera Tucker. So I'm going to have them go for it. I think the Jets are going to be that team that needs to really spend their picks wisely, because they're going to have to really ramp up this team if they want to be any sort of hope for the franchise. Like, when they draft a rookie quarterback, they have to do things right, or otherwise you're doomed as the franchise for another 10 plus years. Basically, you have to get this draft right. I think people are going to consider this okay value, but it's going to make a lot of sense for them. So at 24, the Steelers are in a weird spot as well. I think they're going to end up having to draft for need, just because they're strapped at the tackle position. They're strapped all over the offensive line, and I really don't have any other weaknesses besides the offensive line. And I'm gonna have them take Tevin Jenkins. I said this in our video previously that he just feels like a Steelers player, so I like this pick a lot for them. And at 25, the Jaguars are probably, I have them going Trevon Moehrig here a lot, but I just don't feel like teams should be drafting safeties early, especially when you can get a number 1 type of safety, John Johnson ended up going to the Browns. How did he go for that cheap? I don't understand how the safeties are not being valued as much. And since they're not being valued as much money-wise, why would you spend on a high draft pick for them if you can just pay one in free agency? I just don't know why you'd want to do that. So the Jaguars end up going maybe edge rusher here, perhaps, maybe linebacker. I'm going to have them take the new guy in Jamin Davis. I think he's a type of guy that can play off the ball linebacker in a 3-4 for the Jaguars. And he's going to be, I haven't really watched him yet, but it seems like he's going to be an athletic freak and a guy that is going to be super exciting to watch. So, Jamin Davis at 25 is very, very interesting. The Browns at 26 just seem like they're going edge, and I like this pick, Azeez Ojulari, for the Browns. I think he gives a huge floor, super high floor for Azeez Ojulari. And it's not like he has too shabby of a ceiling either. I think he's the type of guy who's going to learn moves off of Myles Garrett. He only has one move right now, and I think it's his it's I don't know what it's called, but it's where you shove the hand out of the way, you bend around the tackle. That's what he does. But I think he's going to be pretty good value here at 26. He's he's probably my favorite edge rusher. I wouldn't call him edge one, but he's my favorite out of all these guys. And the Baltimore Ravens, I think, are basically strapped into going edge as well. And Jason Owe just keeps flying up draft boards. I don't know why, but sure. I'll take him here. He's probably going to end up being considered a huge value here for the Ravens. I don't like Owe, but it's whatever. It's fine. The Saints at 28. Marshawn Lattimore got into some trouble, so it looks like they're going to have to go corner in Greg Newsome, and they don't have much of a choice. So, they could go other defensive, places, but it seems like they can't really solve it through free agency, so they're going to have to solve it through the draft. And at 29, the Packers think they're in a good place to actually take a good wide receiver in Terrace Marshall Jr. I think he's a good scheme fit for the Packers. He's the type of guy that the Packers would like, and he's not really much for reach, so I think they can justify for sure. And at 30, I've said this multiple times already, the Bills need offensive linemen for their running game. Now, they could go defense as well, perhaps take a linebacker, perhaps take a corner opposite Tre'Davious White. But, you could take Kelvin Joseph here. In fact, you know what? I've changed my mind. I think they can go for offensive line in later rounds. I think Kelvin Joseph is like the last of these, amazing tier of corners that would go in the first round. I think the rest of the guys are kind of like guys you don't see a lot of upside in. I think Asante Samuel Jr. is probably like the next guy up for me, but I think these 5 have a pretty huge, tier break, let's say, between them. At 31, the Chiefs just need to go offensive line. I think the value is here at 31 to take someone like Dylan Radins. And he showed out at the Senior Bowl. It's no surprise that he would end up being here at 31 either. I don't think he goes much earlier than this, and I don't think he goes much later than this. I think he's gonna be taken around in like the 26, probably not to the Browns obviously, but like the 25 to like 40 range, and that the Chiefs sit right in between them, and they don't have a tackle, so why not? The Bucs at 32. The Bucs at 32. What in the world are they gonna do here? I think you should, if you are the Bucs, probably go for someone who either fits, or you can trade down here for someone who wants like a Najee Harris or Travis Etienne. I think I'm gonna have them do that actually, because it does make a lot of sense. I think who do I want to have them trade down to? Who wants Najee Harris or Travis Etienne at the very end of the first? Maybe even Trevon Moehrig. I don't think he trade up for a safety. Who do you go here? If you are maybe the Steelers don't want to trade up. Who wants to trade up? Maybe the Falcons, since they traded back. Maybe wanting to go back up. They are in the NFC South. Maybe they don't want to deal with each other. Any running back needy teams? The Cardinals make a lot of sense. Oh, that's interesting. They have the second from earlier from the Colts. And they got an extra first. It's not happening. But yeah, I guess they have to go up this and then like a second next year for like this and a fourth? Maybe a third? Maybe a fourth? This is probably like the sort of trade that would happen. But I'm just going to make it go through. And who do you take if you're the Cardinals at 32? If you're trading up for a running back, which I don't feel good about, by the way. I don't know why you'd ever trade up here for a running back. But if it's a cheap enough price, I would not mind it if I were the Cardinals. So, you know what? Looking back on this, I'm just gonna have the Bucks get Trevon Moehrig. I know this makes no sense. What the heck is going on? Oh, they got, yeah, never mind. Anyways, the Bucks are taking Trevon Moehrig. I know they have good safeties, but I think the type of team that can utilize more guys in the secondary. But yeah, this is the Bucks, not the Cardinals. You didn't see anything, okay? But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this mock draft. It's a little bit of a longer video, but I enjoyed making it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it. And yeah, make sure you hit like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.